My second award for outstanding achievement in all academic areas goes to another student who does the same. She consistently performs high on tests, projects, they come in beautifully, and she is also an avid reader and lover of books. And if you ever get a chance to come in my room and see our library, it is due mostly in part to our next recipient, Emily Donaire. And next up is Mr. Aquila for Mrs.
To get one thing right off the bat, it is hot outside. I thought this video would just be better outside. It is July 11th. It is gonna be Arkansas heat and humidity. So if I start looking crazy at any point in this video, if I already look crazy because I can't see myself, please just disregard, okay? We're not here for looks, we're not here for appearances. This is my microphone because I wanted something to hold with my hands so that I wouldn't just be like, I'm already convincing myself that this is real and this is picking up my voice. And if you think this looks ridiculous, maybe this isn't the video for you. I am 17 years old. I'm going to be going to college this fall. I'm having a lot of thoughts about growing up and getting older and my life being kind of really fully my life now. So I wanted to make a video where I just chat about that. And I'm sure even a month from now, I'm gonna be like, oh my god, like I should have said this and that. Wait, no, my perspective on this aspect has completely changed. No, like that's not accurate anymore. So that's kind of what the video is all about. I'm changing, and my opinions on things are going to change, and my outlooks on things are going to change. So this is kind of just a marker of where I am right now at this moment. I've been rereading The Raven Cycle. I'm 145 pages into the first book. This is what my copy of the book looks like. It has a lot of annotations. My mark fell out. As you can see, I like this book a lot. Other than just like my general thoughts, I'm probably going to talk a lot about The Raven Cycle and about my playlist that's called Letting Go and Building Something Else, like songs on that playlist. Who wants to see my roots before I do that? I don't know how to ride a bike, and I tried to ride a bike the other day. I tried to learn because I thought I was going to get on it and then it was going to be the easiest thing in the world, so that actually didn't happen. This is the bruise I got from it. Can you see that? Is that like visible? Let me start off talking about The Raven Cycle a little bit. I'm leaving a lot of stuff out because I just tried to give a more in-depth description and I started rambling on like crazy. 4 teenagers, Blue, Gainsey, Ronan, Adam, and they are essentially on this quest for this sleeping king who Gainsey believes to be buried on a ley line, which is like an energy line. Where a lot of like magic is centered. While that is the main focus of the series and like, you know, the trials that come along the way and all these people that are also looking for things related to magic, and even though it has magic, I would never describe it as a fantasy series. It very much feels like magic in the way that last night I was in the car with my friend and we were driving past this big field with bales of hay on it, and the sun had already set and the moon was just coming out, and the moon was like the biggest moon I've ever seen, and it was bright orange, And that is the kind of magic that the Raven cycle feels like. Whenever I reflect on like how like beautiful and magical the world is, I always think of the Raven cycle. I think of the Raven cycle a lot. It kind of dictates a lot of my being and how I just go about the world. What it means to me is about growing up. And it's about, I don't remember where I got this phrase. It's about the teenage realization of what it means to live for the rest of your life. I feel like I've already gone through this realization many times, but I feel like I've never actually gone through it in the way I am now. It's really, really starting to sink in. Like, I am the only one who's going to be living my life. There are going to be people that I keep really, really close to me and that are important parts of my life and that will shape my life. But I'm the only one who's going to be living it. It's mine to fuck up. It's mine to make however wonderful I want it. We're gonna just bring in a song right now. So, Grown Up by Leith Ross. The lyric I wanted to talk about right here is they say, "Oh, what a wonderful feeling to own and operate your life. Oh, what a terrible burden. All my decisions are mine." Yeah, that lyric is just like, that really, I mean, I could end the video here. That's it. Those are my thoughts on growing up. Oh, what a wonderful feeling to own and operate my life. I can do whatever I want with it. Like, really, really, I can do whatever I want with it. Anything. And I've started to prove that to myself in the last year and a half or so. Like, if I want to do something, I can just do it. And if I want to do something, I will make it happen. Oh, what a terrible burden. All my decisions are mine. If I don't do something, that is on me. If I do something wrong, that is on me. I have to trust myself to make the right decisions because it's fully up to me. What if I hate the college I'm going to? What if I find it really difficult to connect with people there? What if I don't know. I'm majoring in film and digital media because I don't know what else to do and I don't have a specific plan to do something with my college degree. So I'm like, I don't know. But that's where I'm going. That's what I'm doing right now. But I'm like, what if that's the worst decision in the world? And what if I should have just sucked it up and done like psychology or even something even more sciencey or mathy, even though that's not me at all. But I'm like, that would be like a solid job. But I don't know. I'm just gonna have to wait and see what happens. But I feel like I'm in a really good place because I'm like, it's gonna work out. No matter what decisions I make, it's gonna work out. That teenage feeling, like that thing where it's like all teenagers think they're invincible, that's literally me. Not in the way of like nothing dangerous can happen to me, but I'm like, any decision I make, I'm gonna find a way for it to work out. Anything that happens to me, I'm gonna figure it out. Okay, this is my first little interruption. I do have a couple more of these, but those were all filmed at one time earlier today. So this is what we're looking like. I'm editing the video right now. When I filmed those earlier, I hadn't started editing yet. But anyway, you'll see those later on in the video. Still not sure where I'm gonna put them. So I was editing this and I said the thing about teenagers think they're invincible. And I was like, wait, where is that one quote from? It's from Looking for Alaska. I love Looking for Alaska. Sue me. Sue me. Was I a teenager in 2014? No. So do I have an excuse? No. That show made me actually sob. And then the book's also really good. But the show genuinely is still one of my favorite shows to this day. But I just want to interrupt. And in case you've never read Looking for Alaska, I'm going to read the quote to you. I have it written down in my notes app. And it is so... John Green did his thing. When adults say teenagers think they are invincible with that sly, stupid smile on their faces, they don't know how right they are. We need never be hopeless because we can never be irreparably broken. We think that we are invincible because we are. We cannot be born and we cannot die. Like all energy, we can only change shapes and sizes and manifestations. They forget that when they get old. They get scared of losing and failing. But that part of us greater than the sum of our parts cannot begin and cannot end, and so it cannot fail. John Green did his thing because genuinely, okay, I was editing, I remembered it, I looked it up, and I actually was like about to start crying reading that. We need never be hopeless because we cannot be irreparably broken. That is what I'm saying. That is what I've been saying. No matter what happens to me, I can always come back from it. No matter what happens to you, there's always a way to come back from it, and there's always more that you can do, and like, it's never hopeless. It can feel absolutely hopeless and absolutely devastating, but situations change. And you know, sometimes situations change and that's what feels like the end of the world. But situations change for the better and for the worse, but it'll always be, you will always find a way, or the universe will always find a way to make it okay. And it may not be the same, but it'll be okay. There's also this freaking quote from, it's literally, I forget what magazine it was from. It was just from like a little comic in like the fucking New Yorker or something, but I used it for a collage. And it's like, realizing that not every moment of his life would be filled with meaning and like excitement, Bob unloaded his dishwasher. And even just that, I'm like, guys, there is so much to look forward to. Like, small things like that. In Girls Against God by Florence and the Machine, there's the lyric, "And it's good to be alive, crying into cereal at midnight." Like, it really is. It really is. Even those, like, the saddest moments, and just the, like, even your bleakest moments, there is still, like, it is good to be alive. You're still alive! It's, sorry, not to bring fucking Call Me By Your Name into it, because, whatever. The speech that Elio's dad gives to him, where he's like, don't rip out the part of yourself that feels, because, like, it's beautiful that you felt that kind of love. But, like, that sentiment of, like, if you're feeling something, like, at least you're feeling it. Ugh. And I guess I know this doesn't specifically have to do with, like, growing up, but, like, it is, because I'm realizing these things as I grow up. So it all connects. Anyway, we can go back to me being outside now. I just needed to interject and, like, go, like, ah! Another song, really big, like, I Can and I Will by C Rose, because I can and I will. And that's really been driving me through this summer. This summer especially, I've just been feeling like the world is my oyster. Anything I want to do, I can do. Because if I can, I will. I'm really feeling really grateful that that's where I'm at, and that that's the mindset I'm going into college in. I feel like it's like this whole part of my life that's coming up where genuinely it is what I make of it. If I sit around on my ass and do nothing, nothing is going to come out of this time. If I work for the things I want and I take the chances and I actually set out to do things, things are going to happen. I feel like I'm just sounding like this is very baseline thinking, but it has taken me so long to get here. I feel like in the past year and a half especially is when I've really started to like change in crazy ways. I moved to Arkansas the summer before my freshman year. So this time of my life, like high school, which I don't even consider that this time of my life anymore, but I guess my time like living in Arkansas, that time of my life really does feel like such a bubble, because my moving year coincided with another like clear beginning and end of a chapter of your life, you know, high school. So it really does feel like I'm leaving so much behind, and I'm leaving a whole version of me behind when I move. As soon as I like get on the plane to California, it feels like I'm leaving a very, I don't know, I've been so many different versions of myself here specifically, because I feel like I wasn't too many different versions of myself in California when I was growing up. I moved when I was 13? I don't know who I was before like 4 or 5, but I was very like enthusiastic kid, like little kid. I feel like I was always a lot more nervous than my cousins who I grew up around, so I feel like I was more reserved. But then I don't know what happened around 4th grade or so, but then I started genuinely, like, I felt so isolated from everyone around me, from my family, from friends. Like, I didn't have people that I would consider like actual close friends and like in a meaningful way until high school. And even then, more specifically, I didn't have like friendships like I have now. I do not feel like I had close friendships until junior year. Like I had a lot of friends before then in freshman and sophomore year, but healthy and like meaningful friendships that I want to hold on to, I didn't have those really until junior year. Like there are people that I'm friends with now that I don't want to stop being friends with, and I never do, that I've like known and been friends with since like freshman year, but our relationship didn't become what it is until around junior year. Around 4th grade, that's when I kind of just completely like went into myself. I was just so closed off, and I feel like I blocked out that part of my life so much, and I don't know exactly what the catalyst for that was, but I was not doing too good for the entire rest of my time in California. I wasn't like feeling awful all the time, because that was also the era when I was around 10 is when I started getting big into like fandom and stuff like that, started obsessing over different medias. Those things brought me a lot of joy, and I would like decorate my entire room with all of that, and I would like engage with all that media in like a very like positive way. So it's not like I didn't ever feel happiness. And I would go to Disneyland a lot because like I went with my sister, and we would go to the beach, and like I would laugh and it would be like awesome. But I think inside I was that was just very much an era of anxiety and isolation and loneliness and just not feeling right in the world, even though I couldn't really recognize that because I thought that was just me. And I don't know, maybe I've just grown up, maybe I've changed, maybe where I'm at now is just where I would be no matter what, like this was the natural evolution of things. But I do think there have been changes in my life, one of which moving to Arkansas. Like, I don't know who I would be if I had stayed in California. I don't know if that's what's made me into what's brought me to where I am today, or if no matter what, I would have ended up kind of in this good, mostly good place in my life right now because it was just like the trials of growing up. So I don't know what's the case. I just know that this is where I'm at now, and only I can choose where I go from here because I've been lucky enough that, trust, my life has not always been the greatest, but generally I think I have made the best, or I've started to make the best of what I can with it, if that makes sense. There's nothing right now happening that I feel is so debilitating that it's like fucked me up forever, or anything ever that I feel like's fucked me up forever. I do feel very lucky about that, even though there have been things that, girl, I've been in therapy like 4 different times, starting from like 9 or 10 years old. And like, trust, I have a couple different diagnoses, whatever. And obviously I didn't always go about it the healthiest manner. It was a lot of just like shoving things away and telling myself like, no, you're not, you're fine, even when I wasn't, which isn't healthy and I don't recommend that, but I'm doing good now. And I do genuinely feel like I'm doing good now, even though there are times when I'm not doing good. I can just recognize in myself how different my coping mechanisms and the way I go about expressing my feelings and the way I go about dissecting my feelings is from even like 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I was very, very unhealthy. Very unhealthy, not a good time, even though I was like, this is just me. I was like, this is how I'm always gonna be. Phoebe Bridgers, Jesus Christ, I'm so blue all the time, and that's just how I feel. I always have and I always will. I was like, this is just me. This is how it's gonna be for the rest of my life. That's not the case at all. That is not the case at all. So much has changed. So much externally and internally has changed. The external has affected the internal has affected the external. It's really crazy. Another thought in my mind is about how much I've changed is the character Adam Parrish from the Raven Cycle. When I think about him and like his relatability, I usually think about him at the beginning of the series and him with a lot of his more negative traits, because that is the part of him that I used to relate to, because I hadn't gone through any kind of like growth yet as he does later in the series and throughout the series. I have to remind myself, he goes through so much growth and he is so different at the end of the series than he is at the beginning of the series. At the beginning, he does not accept help from anyone because he doesn't see that his friends wanting to offer him help is them offering him their love, and instead he sees that as pity, and he just sees himself as so like unsavable, even as he is trying to be a completely different person than who he is. So that's the version of him that I related to. But I have to remind myself, he changes completely throughout the series, and then he is such a different person at the end. And that's more so where I feel I'm at now, so I do still relate to him. But my initial thing to say is like, oh, I guess I don't really relate to him anymore. No, you actually relate to him more because now you've been the person. You've been every version of him now. I don't see myself in early Adam Parrish the way I once did. And that alone is such like a sign of how much I've changed. And it's just really crazy because I've been rereading the Raven Cycle, and when I'm reading it, I'm like, and I see my old annotations where I'm like, that's so me. Not anymore. That is so crazy to me. But there's this one scene in the second book where he talks about how he recognizes that the anger that he feels is a separate thing from him, and it's a surprise gift from his father. And he talks about how he lashes out and he pushes someone away, but then he takes a breath and he takes a moment. He doesn't go out and chase after her and continue this fight. He takes a moment, he makes himself stay, he makes his body stay, and he dissects the anger inside of him. And that really, there just used to be so much inside me that did not make me feel good at all, and I don't I just don't feel it anymore. And I don't know when that happened. I don't know when that happened, but I'm really grateful it did. But that's just so insane to me, how different I am internally also. I think about Adam Parrish from the Raven Cycle. Brief overview of his kind of journey, I guess, is he grows up with an abusive father and a negligent and abusive mother. He grows up in this town, Henrietta, Virginia, where there is this very fancy private school, Aglanby Academy. He gathers up the money to attend Aglanby because he works like 3 or 4 jobs at all times, on top of like doing chores around his house and on top of attending school and on top of all that homework and on top of questing with Gainsey. He is going to get out of that house, out of that double wide. He's going to get out of there. He's going to get away from his father. He's going to make his own life, and it will be completely on his terms. That is the most important thing about being Adam Parrish. His best friend Gainsey, who is very, very rich, is always trying he's well-meaning, does not come off that way, trying to offer him help and a way out. Adam continuously refuses because he needs to do it himself. If it's not on his terms, it means success meant nothing to Adam if he hadn't done it for himself. With Adam Parrish, I think a lot about wanting to be able to take responsibility for your success and for where you're at in life. Connecting to the song Older by C. Rose. I'm building something else. It's not something I'll tear down. I will make it myself, and I'm too proud to break that promise. I'd do anything but ask for your help. And I just think about those two in conjunction with each other a lot. Not just specifically for me, but just growing up in general and just wanting to make your own life on your own terms. Finding it difficult to accept other people's help because it can feel like charity or pity when all it is, at least in Adam's case, all it is love and care. And it can be very hard to differentiate those two because it can feel like you don't think I can do this for myself when all the person is trying to do is lend you a helping hand and help you. And it's not pity and it's not weak to accept help. Leaning on others, not relying on others, and not putting all of your being into one person, because that's not good for anyone, but instead to be able to lean on the people that you love and that love you and be able to accept help when you need it. And I don't know, I just think that's a very important part of growing up. Another big part of his journey is, so he makes that deal with Cape's Water, which is this magical forest where he relinquishes his self-control, which is a big aspect of his personhood. Throughout the rest of the series, there's this ongoing quote where he thinks of himself and where, like, the forest is saying in his head, where he thinks of himself as unknowable. And he's like, no one will ever know me. I am, like, unable to be known. I'm so far apart from everyone, because there's another quote, Adam Parrish was lonesome. And it's like, he is so far apart from everyone that no one will ever be able to actually understand him and know him and be able to, like, just, right? That was big for me. And then in the 3rd book, or maybe the 4th, then there's a moment, there are small moments where he starts to think, am I actually being seen right now? In the End of the World by C. Rose, there's this quote where it's like, oh, you promise you can see me and you don't lie. Like, being seen is such a special thing, and it really is one of the best feelings in the world. Like, someone saying, oh, I thought of you when I saw this. But I mean, Adam's thing goes deeper beyond that, but even just simple things like that. Anyway, then there are moments when he's like, wait, am I being perceived correctly right now? Wait, do my friends actually low-key care about me? Wait. And then it kind of culminates into this thing where it's like he was unknowable, except that he wasn't. And I don't know, like, it's such a simple quote. I don't know, might sound stupid to you guys, but to me that was life-changing, and I'm probably gonna get that tattooed. I'm thinking on the backs of here, like, one's gonna say unknowable and then either accept that you aren't or accept that he wasn't. And I don't know, that quote just really stuck with me because I'm like, growing up really is about understanding you are not this unknowable being. The things you have gone through are not yours alone, and your experiences, while they are, like, personal to you, and while really only you have lived your life, because that's a whole thing, you're the only one that's going to live your life, letting people in is a very important part of it all. And even though you may not ever fully know someone, and you're never going to be that person, what's the point? What's the point of loving someone if you're not trying to know them as deeply as you can, and you're not trying to like understand them as much as you can, even if you know it's like futile. I always say it differently. Now I want to speak on Blue Sergeant from the Raven Cycle. Those are the main two that I just wanted to talk about, because the two wolves inside of me are Adam Parrish and Blue Sergeant. But also I really love being outside. Like, sorry, okay, pause on Blue, but like being outside is really, really magical. If you are ever feeling like, oh, and I know, it's like, go on a walk, boy, I want to kill myself. Okay? And boy, go on a walk. Or step outside, literally, or open a window, or I don't know. But it might be raining. Okay, rain feels good. Feel the rain on your skin. First, let me just say, Unwritten, like the song, genuinely one of my favorite, like genuinely such a good song. Not ironically, not in a like, oh my gosh, this is so fun, which it is so fun. Like, actually, those lyrics are life changing. Like that, like you are so like that's how I feel right now. That is actually the thesis of this whole video. That is how I feel. Like, feel the rain on your skin, because feel the rain on your skin. I remember last month, I was in the truck bed of my friend's car, and it was raining, and it was after we had gone to the lake, and it was me and 4 other of my friends, and I was in the back of his truck, and it was raining, and I was like in my bathing suit, and we were driving, and it was the most magical thing in the world. It is all about small moments like that. That is what I've realized, which duh, but okay. This is all from the perspective of a 17-year-old girl who is just learning about the world, who is just figuring herself out. So if you're watching this and you're like, well, no shit, I figured that out years ago. Well, no shit, that's what everybody says. Okay, these are I need to stop being defensive. No one's attacking me. I'm making these arguments up. But I'm like, that is literally the point. Like, I am talking about discovering all this wonder and beauty in the world, and about growing up. Which I thought I was going to talk a lot more about fears, which I might later. But right now we are, oh my god, there's a really, really scary bug. This is just like the predatory wasp of the Palisades is out to get us by Sufjan Stevens, because there's a huge wasp. I'm sorry, I like touch my face a lot when I'm nervous, but there's a huge wasp on a table next to me, and it's just crawling around. So if I die on camera, I don't even know what I was saying. Oh, then I might talk about fears later, but right now I'm kind of being really positive. I don't know what I was saying. Oh, feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you. What it means to live for the rest of your life. No one else can feel it for you. Only you can let it in. But girl, all you need to do is listen to Unwritten, and then remember that life is worth living. Staring at the blank page before you. Open up the dirty window. Let the sun illuminate the words that you cannot find. Reaching for something in the distance. Like, the entire song is literally like, oh my god, like, she was cooking. It is so good. What was I talking about? Blue Sergeant really is another facet of my personality, where it's like, where Adam more so, not completely, but more so represents like older versions of me, more intrinsic maybe, parts of me. Blue represents more so where I'm at now, but Adam represents, I don't know. Adam's just me, but Blue is also just me. They because both of them have such a deep desire just to get out of where they are, and to be more, and to see more, and to do more. And all these characters intersect, because also Gainsey has his like, he needs to make something of himself. Anyway, and he's like, I need my life to be worth something. But that's how they all feel. Ugh! That's why this series is so good. That's why it's so good to read as a teenager and someone who's like figuring it out. She wants to see the world, and she wants to be a part of the world around her, and she wants to like, ugh. I am Blue Sergeant when I'm looking at like the sun off of like through like sunlight through tree branches and like leaves on tree. What the hell am I saying? That is Blue Sergeant in me when I look at that, and the wonder I feel about the world. She recognized the strange happiness that came from loving something without knowing why you did. That strange happiness that was sometimes so big that it felt like sadness. It was the way she felt when she looked at the stars. Like, she just understands me so bad. I understand her so bad. She's very much like, kind of, I guess, wonder about the world, and very much just like, I need to make my life something absolutely wonderful and something that I really enjoy living. And I feel like I'm probably on the right path, but then I'm also scared, like, what if it all goes to shit? I try not to think about those so much, but you know, as I'm going off to college, those fears are very much prevalent, and those worries of like, I don't know what I'm doing. But then I'm like, girl, it'll all work out. But I'm like, within the series, she's like her mother's a psychic, and she always pulls the Page of Cups for her when she's doing a tarot reading. So she always talks about how much potential she holds. And at one point in the second book, Blue's like, okay, when does it stop being potential? Like, when do I actually do something with it? And Blue Sergeant is so who I am right now in life. Like, I'm like, okay, when do I do something with it? And maybe I am. Maybe I just don't recognize that I'm doing something with it. And I don't know. It's just, there's no conclusion to that. That's just like a random thought. But I'm not ready to be on my own at all. And I know college still has some semblance of structure, but genuinely, like, I'm not cut out for this, because also I look 2 years old. What business do I have being on a campus with grown-ass people? Grown-ass men specifically. That is so scary to me. But it's gonna be fine. But also it's really, really scary because I don't have anything figured out. I just don't feel great about any of it. I just don't have a clear direction, and that kind of scares me. But I'm like, guys, can you tell me if that's okay? Can you, like, that's fine, right? If all I'm guided by is my heart, and like, I want a happy life, I want to be content, I want to create, I want to have friends, like, is that enough to be guided by? Because I don't really have, like, I'm kind of open to anything as long as it gives me those things, you know what I mean? I want to strive for things. I just don't have something very specific that I'm striving for, because I'm like, well, I'm chill with a lot of stuff, but I do want, like, a creative life. And so I don't want to resign myself to, like, well, I guess I can do something boring that I don't really care about. Because even though I know that's like a reality and it's a possibility, and I can have a boring job and the rest of my life can be freaking lit, and I'm aware of that, I don't want to already be thinking like, well, I guess that's where I'm gonna end up. Because, girl, I'm 17, world's my oyster, I can do whatever I want. I don't know what the rest of my life is gonna look like, and that's really scary. But also, I haven't known what any of my life is gonna look like at any point in the future. And like, it's turned out pretty good. So deep inside me, I am like, I know it's gonna work out, it's gonna be fine. But then a little bit not as deep inside me, I'm like, okay, I kind of want to know what it's gonna look like though. I kind of like am not prepared at all. Like, I do still have to put effort in for it to look good, and I don't know what to do. Does that make sense? I know my life, some people's lives will be this and are this. I don't feel it's in my cards for me to have this big, crazy, like, exciting life. Not in any kind of negative way. I just think I'm very much, and honestly, it's my goal to just have a quiet life. To just kind of like go day by day. And also, not just day by day, because I do want to plan for bigger things. And I do want it to be, I want it to be exciting, but I guess I mean not this like crazy awesome life in a way that from the outside people would think it's crazy awesome, but from the inside I'm like, I can't believe this is my life. Because I did not think, up until like a year and a half ago, I definitely did not think it was in the cards for me. And not even in the like, I'm gonna have a horrible life, but I was like, where I was 2 years ago, I was like, I am always gonna be the problem in my own life, and I am always gonna make it awful for me. I'm like, no matter anywhere, oh, you know what quote used to fuck me up? Anywhere you go, there you are. Like, that used to haunt me, because I was like, anywhere, no matter where I am in the world, no matter where I am in my life, I'm always gonna be me, and that is always what's gonna make it like not great. But now that I'm kind of like, wait, why am I growing into a version of myself that I'm actually very happy to live with, or at the very least content to live with, now I'm excited, and now I'm like, wait, no, I think my life is actually going to be very fulfilling and very nice and very good. Then there's that lyric from Stoned at the Nail Salon by Lorde, and all the music you loved at 16 you'll grow out of. And again, then it's really scary thinking about, there are versions of myself that I'm never going to be again in very positive ways, but there are parts of my life that I'll never get back, especially right now. Because, I mean, yes, there are like moments that are generally universal, not entirely universal, but generally universal in like childhood that like everyone misses. Like, I miss falling asleep in the back of my mom's car, like on a late night drive, and like seeing like the lights pass over me, or like reading with like just the passing like storefront lights and like street lights and stuff. I miss being carried inside from the car to my room. I miss swimming in a pool with my cousin, like as a little kid. I miss like an ice cream truck at the park. And there are things from when I was younger that I miss, but I feel like until this point in my life, there haven't been too many things where like the entirety of my life and this era of my life, instead of just small moments, like this era of my life that I'm gonna miss and I'm never gonna get it back. Because, okay, the quote by Ocean Vuong, how the hell did I just say that? Anyway, after all, it's June and you're young until September. In June, it was like, yes, it's June and you're young until September. Right now, that quote has really been fucking me up, because I'm thinking, until September. You're young until September, because then in September, you're in college and your entire life is yours. After September, you're never going to be this kind of young again. You'll still be young, but you'll be young in a college student way, not in a... I feel very like listless, right? I don't know, right now, because I don't feel like I'm in high school. I'm out of high school, but I don't feel like I'm in college, even though there have been college things I've been doing, like preparation and like online classes. But so I just feel very in between in a very freeing way. Like I feel very just like my life is mine right now. When I go to college, I hope it'll still feel like that. I'm worried it'll just feel like I'm in another like box and I'm stuck somewhere. So I really feel like, oh my god, it's until September that I'm young, and after that, like, I have to grow up. Which I do. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. Like, I can... Ugh. And I also think about, like, how Adam, after he makes a deal with Cape's Water, he is fundamentally changed. Like, after that, he recognizes that he is so like, other from his friends, and his friends recognize that he is not the same person that he once was, like genuinely overnight, and there's something fundamentally different about him, even if they can't like, you know, put a finger on what it is. He can never go back to being who he was, and ultimately it is for the better, because after that point, not immediately after that point, but like he does grow as a character after that point, and does make strides as a person after that point. So like, it didn't ruin him. It wasn't for the worst. It might have been neutral, because he might have changed and grown either way. But like, I just think about how you can't go back to who you once were, and you will be fundamentally changed at one point in your life or another, and you can never return to like before that point. And circumstances change, but like, you just have to roll with the punches. And that's so... He does get out, and he does go to Harvard, and he completely reinvents himself there. Also, this, what I'm talking about when he's at Harvard, is in the second like series in this universe, the Dreamer trilogy, which that is so crazy to me in its own way, because where the Raven cycle is all like adolescence and like exploration and like, and a lot of sad stuff, a lot of still like stuff. The Dreamer trilogy is so like, people change. Oh my god, I can't think about it. He completely reinvents himself, and he makes himself someone new, and so his new life isn't real. And then Ronan comes to visit him at Harvard, and he doesn't even recognize Adam. When they walk past each other for the first time, they don't even recognize each other, and they have to like turn back. And I just like people, I just really love Adam Parrish's character. But talking about the Dreamer trilogy, like, there are times when Ronan refers to Gainsey as like his old friend, there's this one part, and he's just thinking to himself, and he's like, when he was a teenager, he and his friend Gainsey did this, and I genuinely, thinking about relationships, and that doesn't make Gainsey any less important to him. He is never any less important to him. He's just not an active part of his life. And even that, I'm like, you grow and you change, and the people that were once your everyday, now you hardly ever see them, and that doesn't mean that the love you have for them goes away, and it doesn't make it any less stronger. It just makes it different, and it just changes it. You don't even have to grow apart from someone for them not to be as close to you as you are, because you don't know everything about them anymore, and they don't know everything about you anymore. And I actually feel sick thinking about the people that I'm friends with right now, and thinking and worrying about where we'll be even after a year in college. And I know things are bound to change, but I really don't like that, and I don't want them to. Like, I know they're bound to change at some point in life, and not even in like a horrible way, but just, I don't I hate to think that that's already going to start in like 2 months. All the music you'll love at 16 you'll grow out of. So at this point, it's like this era of my life I am going to miss, and I'm never going to get it back. It is something I'm never going to get back. There are moments that I can do again. I can ride in the back of a friend's truck in the rain again. I can stay at an Airbnb with my friends again. I can go like square dancing or line dancing again. I can get ice cream with my friends at night again. I can have sleepovers with my friends at night again. All those things will only be during breaks and during summers. And then after that point, like after college, I don't know what my life's going to look like in any capacity. Like I have hopes and I have some vague visions, but I really don't know. Like it is all up to me, but that's 4 years from now. Like I have no clue what my life is going to look like. It's like, I mean, at any point in your life that's true, but I feel like at this point in my life especially that's true, because I'm going to be a completely different person. Oh, and that's terrifying. I do feel a big sense of hope for the future, and like I feel kind of safe in it. Like I'm like things are gonna work out. But then when I think about it very broadly, I'm like also when I'm talking about the future, I am primarily just talking about college, but I do also mean like even past that. But right now where my mind is at is mainly college. So I'm like, it is all going to work out, but when I think about it vaguely, when I try and think about things specifically, like choosing classes and studying and homework and walking to classes and paying for everything, even just like groceries or like, I don't know, or keeping in touch with friends, or how I have no space in my dorm. How am I going to keep doing creative things if I can't bring that much? So all of that kind of stuff, that's when I started to be like, maybe I don't have this figured out, which I don't have this figured out, but I'm like, maybe I won't figure this out and maybe I'm gonna crash and fail. But then I'm like, even if I crash and fail, like I'll figure something out. It's gonna work out. But then I get scared. I'm like, what if I'm just saying that and it's like, it's not gonna work out. It's not gonna work out. You're convincing yourself it's gonna work out, but then you're gonna be in a bad situation and then you're gonna die. But I'm not. But I'm not. I need to stay there. And not keep doing this back and forth, because this just isn't right. From I Can and I Will by C Rose. Big lyric in my life. It's giving you time like it always will. Which also reminds me of There Is Still Time from I Saw the TV Glow, because there's always going to still be time. As long as you're breathing, there is still time. So it's giving you time like it always will. I don't want to die anymore. There are hands to be held and drinks to be spilled, and I can and I will. Again, talking about all the like simple moments that, I mean, that's really what makes life worth living. We've all heard it a million times, but like, there are hands to be held and drinks to be spilled, and I can and I will. And I saw C Rose live last June, which was over a year ago at this point, which is crazy. That concert genuinely changed something in me. His music is very personal to me, very insane to me, and hearing those lyrics live, so many different lyrics, but hearing all those lyrics live really did, like, I could feel every lyric actually in my soul, in my bones, in a physical way. That was insane. Like, I actually feel like it's engraved in me now. I mean, the entirety of the song, Anthems for a 17-year-old girl, like, duh. And I'm also starting to realize I only have like 2 months. I have like 3 months left of being 17, and I'm like, oh my god, this is such an important age, and I haven't been making as big of a deal about it, because also all of my friends or the majority of my friends are a year older than me, because I was a year younger than everyone in my class because of like the different like cutoff dates for schooling for California and Arkansas. So I feel like that's also made me feel very disconnected from my age in the past 4 years, because all of my friends will have been a year older than me and they'll have already turned whatever age I'm turning. So I'm not like making a big deal about it, because I'm like, I just feel like I'm finally caught up, instead of viewing it from the viewpoint of like, this is like, I finally reached the age, or it's like, I'm reaching this age now and this is my milestone. I've just been thinking about it in the terms of like, okay, now I'm at the same age as everyone else, instead of thinking, I just turned a completely different age. So now I'm like, oh my god, I'm 17 and I only have 3 months left of being 17, and I didn't like listen to all the songs that talk about being 17 and la. Anyway, also the lyric from Anti-Curse by Boy Genius, you don't have to make it bad just because you know how. That's also been very, very big. Like, I just feel like that encapsulates a big part of my growing up journey, is realizing you don't have to make it bad just because you know how. Just because you know how to like make the good choice. Make the choice that is better for you, even if it's not the easier one. Like, was anyone ever so young, which is from that song, but it's originally from Slouching Towards Bethlehem by Joan Didion, which is a book I love. And I'm like, was anyone ever so young? And that's all it says in the song, but in the book it says like, well, I'm here to tell you that someone was. That is what I think of anytime I'm doing something that feels like magical with my friends. Like, I'm like, was anyone ever so young? Like, it is a very active thought in my mind that I'm just trying to take advantage and really feel that I am young right now and that this is a very special time of my life and a very unique time of my life. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. I know The End by Phoebe Bridgers, classic. I'm just thinking about that a lot, of being like, I really am gonna find a new place to be from. I did find a new place to be from. I was from California. I was like, that is where I'm always gonna be from. After these 4 years, I really feel like I am from Arkansas, or at least the version of myself that I am now is from Arkansas. I spent my childhood in California, but I feel like I grew up in Arkansas. And I am sad to be leaving it, and I think there are so many beautiful things that I've discovered while living here, both in people and places and in nature and in experiences. And I have a very new perspective on the state and on like the South in general. Since living here, I used to just write it off, and now I just see it in a completely different light. And I'm very grateful that I've lived here, and I think it's a really wonderful place at times. And my life, I think, has been made 100 times better for having lived here. And yeah, I'm not afraid to disappear. That's how I feel. It just very much feels like I'm entering a third act of my life instead of returning to the first one. So it's very scary because I'm like, oh, this is a completely new start. Whereas if I was going to a college in Arkansas that was an hour away with all of my friends, it would just feel like a different chapter, I guess, like a different or a continuation of this time of my life, which I did want it to be completely different. But now that it's going to be completely different, it's very scary. It feels like I'm already signing up to leave this version of me behind, which I don't love. But I don't hate it. It's just very scary because I just don't know who she's gonna be. Of course, Non-Believer by Lucy Dacus. That entire song is there is no better time to listen to it than as me right now and in the past few months. One-way ticket in your pocket, what happened to the charm of a small town? I live in a small town right now, but I'm just like, I don't want it to feel like I'm leaving people or things behind. I just want it to feel like I'm going towards something else, but I don't want it to feel like I'm leaving anything behind. And I don't know. I get nervous. And then if you find what you're looking for, because I feel like I am looking for something. But I feel like, especially this summer, I feel like now I'm scared to leave. And I'm like, I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave the people. I don't want to leave the place. I don't want to leave this person that I am right now. Even just like in May, I was like, yes, I'm so ready for this new time of my life. I'm so ready to find this version of me. But now I feel like I've started to find the version of me I've wanted to be for so long right now, even though not exactly. And I know I'm going to find her completely in college, or I hope that I will. Or like, I'm going to find, it's going to be good in college. It's going to be really good, but it is really scary. Oh my God. I don't know. It makes me kind of sick. You shook my hand and said goodbye. You'll never let me see you cry again. Because it's not only me that's going off to college and that's gaining new experiences and making new friends. It's also the majority of my friends that are also going to be going to college and having new experiences, making new friends, becoming different versions of themselves. And I do have faith that we'll still be friends and we'll still be close. I do get really nervous. I'm like, I'm still going to want to be as close to them and I'm still going to feel that closeness, but I'm going to feel them slipping away instead of it being me pulling away, because that I feel like has also been a big theme in my life, where I want to be the one to pull away instead of slip away, which is something I've changed in the past year and a half of growth. But Older by C Rose, you were right before when you told me living takes more than to just survive. Big theme in my life, in my thinking. Living does take more than to just survive. Bringing it back to the Raven cycle, there's this quote when Gainsey is at Adam's house and there's just like dead plants all around, and or like wheat or something like that. I don't remember. I think it's weeds. There are a bunch of weeds around, and it's the quote, and it's like, so much survived out here without really living. And I just don't want that to be me. And I feel like that was me for a long time. And I want to live my life. I don't just want to let it pass me by. I don't want to survive. I want to hold on to things and I want to live my life. I'm going to list off like 5 songs that I'm not going to read lyrics from, but I do just, they're also from this playlist and they just encapsulate. Why do I keep trying to use that word? Anything by Slaughter Beach Dog. Which is more fears for the future and like, anyway, Too Much Time in My House Alone by Leith Ross, which very much feels like growing up and letting go of things and letting change wash over you. Change by Big Thief. Vienna by Billy Joel. No Dur, girl. Any teenage girl or early 20s or mid 20s, whatever. Any young woman / teenage girl with ambition and deep desire to do something with her life, she's gonna have a deep and personal connection to Vienna by Billy Joel. The Summer Ends by American Football. That entire album. The entire American Football self-titled album. Dragon Eyes by Adrian Lanker. Really, Dragon Eyes is big for me. There were some quotes that I wrote down from the Raven Cycle. They were all growing up and into each other like trees striving together for the sun. Ronan dreams up this like evil, hideous, dangerous creature, and then he's fighting it, and then there's a voice and it says, "It's only you. Why do you hate you?" And then he thinks about it and he says, "I don't." And that's big. That's a big one for me. Like, it really is only you. Why do you hate you? And then you think about it and you think, I don't hate me. So Gainsey goes on this whole quest trying to find Glendower, and then he realizes, hey, I think he actually might not be there. So it says Glendower was dead. He had always been dead. And Gainsey kind of wanted to live because Gainsey is supposed to die at the end of this series. And he knows this, and he's known this the whole time, even though his friends had thought that he didn't know this and they were keeping it a secret from him. Actually, Ronan was the only one who didn't know, and he's the one that cares about Gainsey. Oh, what a wonderful feeling when you think about your life being taken away from you and you realize, when you realize for the first time, actually, that might be the worst thing in the world. Actually, I kind of want to live. Actually, I don't want to wake up and be living a completely different life, because I used to wish for that all the time. I used to pray to God that I would wake up and I would be in a completely different universe. If that happened now, I don't want that to happen. How crazy is that? I don't want that to happen. Don't You Even Know What You Are? Ronan didn't exactly, but he thought he was getting about living with the unfolding mystery of himself. And I think that is very, very prominent in young people's lives. In my life. I don't know why I'm trying to be intellectual with it. His heart hurt with the wanting of it. The hurt no less painful for being difficult to explain. That's just how I feel. I feel like I have so much want in my life right now, and I'm just like, and I have so much ambition, and I feel very Jo March. Little woman, just one. The enormity of the world grew and grew inside Adam, and he didn't know if he could hold it. He was just a boy. Was he meant to know this? I just like that one. Everything had come to an end at once. Every bit of her future was now unwritten. Why do I keep saying it like that? Every bit of her future was now unwritten for the first time in her life. That is very much how I feel right now. That's how I feel right now. And I know I'm going to feel even more like that after college. And I'm just thinking. And then there's this one that I really, really love. The stars bloomed above her, an array of possibilities. And for the first time in a long time, she felt them mirrored in her heart. I think that fully is like how I'm feeling now. In Dragon Eyes by Adrian Lanker, there's the lyric, "Stars bloom on a warm summer night." And I don't know. I've always loved the stars, but I never saw the stars unless I was camping, up until I moved out to Arkansas. So every night they just feel like a brand new wonder to me, and they feel brand new and magical. Every time I see them, I can't believe that they're there. And so it's wonderful, and I love it. Those are all of the quotes and the songs that I had wanted to talk about, because I think I lied at the beginning of the video and I did have some notes or whatever just to briefly mention. I'm sure there's so much else I could say. This video has been going on forever and I don't really want to cut any of it out. I mean, I will, but this video is just going to be insanely long, and that's okay. Basically, I have a lot of conflicting thoughts about growing up, and I have a lot of hopes for the future, and I'm scared. And I don't know, this is just my thoughts on growing up and becoming new versions of myself. from the perspective of a 17-year-old girl. And if you didn't care for this perspective, I don't know why you watched this whole video. That doesn't seem like a good use of your time. But hey, it's your prerogative. I think that's the end of this. I hope that you enjoyed. And if you didn't, why do you hate me? Why do you hate me? Come on. I'm trying my best out here. I was just so vulnerable with you. Come on. Oh my god, I know I look crazy. Anyway, that's gonna be it. I look really crazy, so now I need to lay down? No, I need to stand in front of an AC. I'm glistening. So, I'll see you in the next one.